And Derrick Henry can rush for 2,800 yards this year, but have 17 fumbles.
Listen, I'm glad the Ravens lost. Never more. Never more.
It's pretty rough to lose on Monday Night Football at home.
Facebook now.
Yeah, usually the Monday night games now are like, that was a big matchup last night. Monday Night Football used to be like the prime time matchup.
I wish I would have watched it rather than go and see that movie.
In recent years, it's turned into like teams that are like, not that great against, like maybe a good team against
like the Steelers and Dolphins later this year.
The Steelers, yes. Dolphins, that's a perfect example. It's not really a primetime matchup.
Dolphins might not have a win by that game.
I am Butler Eagle Sports writer Derek Pida, and here with me today are fellow sports writer Brendan Howe and Eagle Sports editor Jake Murda Adams. This is Season 2 of the Alter Eagles Eye on Sports.
Might not have a head coach by that.
They might not have a head coach by that.
Did you? I know you were working on Sunday, but did you happen to catch any like recording or clip of the throwback that CBS did?
They had the TV a play behind on or in the press box on the TV, so I saw some of it, which was pretty cool.
I liked the fact that they had they brought back the old graphics, the old set, which looked like it was straight out of the early 80s. The theme music, but what I could not understand is they made the guys dress up in period garb.
Wait.
James Brown looked like Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. He had the perm curl.
That's cool.
It's
like
the
and 70s?
Bill Cowher had 70s and 80s because it was the 50th anniversary of CBS starting the live pregame show, which was the first of its kind. The thing is, I didn't watch much CBS growing up because CBS was traditionally the NFC station.
I've always known CBS as the AFC station.
It started in '98, but prior to that, NBC was the AFC station. And they brought Brent Musburger back. They propped him up for a half hour.
I always hated seeing the Steelers play on Fox. It made me mad.
Fox, something about their broadcast is just missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Was it Nate Burleson that did the mutton chops?
And he had
show.
He had a
butterfly
uneven
collar.
haircut.
Yeah. It's
I did enjoy that one.
They brought Brent Musburger back, which is.
But you know what would have been cool? Because didn't CBS have one or two? Wasn't Tampa wearing its old 70s or 80s uniforms? They should have made the Scorebugs retro too. Yeah, I would have gone for that.
And the Patriots, who the Steelers played on Sunday, they wore their throwbacks.
They need to go permanently to those uniforms.
Those were so good. I mean, I don't know.
Do you
Pat
keep
the Patriots.
Do you keep the center logo or do you keep the new logo but with the retro colors?
I'd go back to the old, both with the uniforms. And Pat the Patriot was, he kicked butt.
If it was up to me, every NFL team, including the Steelers, would wear the throwbacks, like the Steelers with the gray face mask and block letters. I think that's their best uniform. I would change every uniform back to what they previously looked like.
They can't change their helmet. They're not going to change their face masks.
I liked the
too many, right?
Eagles.
It's too many regulations happening.
What do you mean?
When they played in Super Bowl 15 against the Raiders, the Ron Jaworski years, those were
I just don't want the Kelly Greens. There's a huge segment of the Philly fan base that loves the Kelly Greens, and not my once a year break them out, cool, but I don't want them back. It's not like the Chargers jerseys where bring back the baby blues.
I don't know. I was actually talking with Alan, my boss for Steelers now, about this the other day. I think the Chargers' best uniforms are the LT uniforms, the LaDainian Tomlinson era.
Yeah.
And I learned football and taught myself football by playing NFL Game Day 2004, which he was on the front of in those uniforms.
Yeah. No, it's legit. I did the same thing with Madden.
I laugh because I don't know.
I learned X's and O's based off Madden.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no experience.
PlayStation 1 video game graphics were the worst. I still think it's my favorite video game of all time just because of how much time I spent on it. I tried playing NFL Street. This was 2 Sundays ago. I have NFL Street 2. And the disc, you remember, you used to have the disc. So scratched that I can't play it anymore. So I am going on eBay when I have the money and I'm buying NFL Street 2 again because that's such a fun game to play.
You know what we used to do back in the day when a disc was scratched and it would just skip? We'd take it out, we'd rub it on our pants in a circular motion. We'd stick it back in and pray to the gods that it would play.
Well, do you remember, did you play N64 at all?
No, I played Nintendo.
Okay, so
when I
N64,
was a kid, I was pretty good, actually.
N64, the whole thing with the cartridge, you took it out, you blew in it, and you put it back in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we had an Atari. I remember that.
That was the first console I had, but that was like the only console my parents ever bought.
I wish we still had it.
Hey friends, before we jump back in, just a quick reminder. If you're looking for all the latest high school football scores, schedules, news, and highlights around Butler County, make sure you check out this week's live coverage on our website. It starts every Thursday with features, previews, and more, and continues Friday evening with a live blog we update throughout the games and post-game recaps after that, so you don't miss a thing. ButlerEagle.com/section/sports has everything from local highlights to player spotlights. So it's a great place to stay caught up on all things high school football, soccer, and the rest of the fall sports. That's ButlerEagle.com/section/sports. Also, if you're enjoying this podcast, it really helps us out when you rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. And don't be afraid to tell your friends and family. We love word of mouth. It not only helps more people find us, but it also lets us know what you'd like to hear more of. Thanks for your support. Now let's get back to the show.
Where's that caffeine at? Hold on.
I know, I'm drinking double caffeine here.
So we had a big man touchdown over the weekend. Just want to say that out loud.
Who?
Jordan Davis.
I'll have to tell Bailey to watch back. She
Sao
likes those.
Antonio tried talking to him after the game, and they had this guy on camera for like 45 seconds, and in 45 seconds, I think he said like 5 or 6 words. He was still out of breath, and this was like 10 minutes after the game.
I scared my dog for the first time this season. I scared my dog watching football. It was during the fourth quarter earlier when they scored to go ahead, and then it was when they blocked the field goal and returned it. I'd been good so far this year. Granted, the bar to scare her is super low, but I'd gone through 2.5 weeks without doing it.
I'm excited to be both a fan and working on Sunday. Like, I'll be able to actually cheer when something happens in the sanctity of my own living room. So that'll be nice. Still have to write about it.
Something else you wrote about. We knew Aiden Yoakum was talented on the track team. Had a really good spring for the planets on the track, and we heard great things about what he could do on the football field coming into the season. But this past week, he actually did it. Talk about Yoakum's performance down at Montour.
So earlier in the week, I told Gabe Hein I'd be out to cover the game, and
Look at this bromance.
I forget what I texted him about initially, but I complimented him on the touchdown he had. We talked about that. But I asked him, I said, has Aiden scored or are the stats I'm looking at wrong? He goes, no, he hasn't scored yet. So I went up to Aiden before the game. I was on their sideline, and I went up to him. I said, it's tonight the night, Aiden? He goes, I hope so. So he goes out. He scores, I think, on their first or second touch. Then he just starts. I think he had 3 rushes of at least 50 yards. And I was hoping I was going to work the lead to be something like he runs the 400 in track. He came short of 400 yards. I was hoping that would have been a cool lead. But then I come to find out after the game that he'd fumbled 5 times over the past 3 weeks. He'd lost 5 fumbles. So that's something the other reporters weren't really focusing on. They were focusing on that he had this huge game. So I got to kind of dive into how he shook that off to come back and have this big game. And second big game we've seen on the ground in the past 3 weeks, I think, where Logan Shade went for 345. He came just short, went 329.
How did you find out he had those fumbles?
I talked to Coach Kasparovich after. He kind of mentioned that, and
Reporting.
The other reporter didn't even pick up on it. I was like, well, that's interesting. He didn't score. He has all these fumbles, and he talked a little bit about that. It wasn't quite the game I thought I'd be getting. It wasn't back and forth. It was a good game. Mars led the whole time. There were some spurts where maybe things were shaky, especially late. Montour would have needed the 2-point conversion, which they got on the previous drive. They had a really good running back named Caden Halacio, who I think is TikTok famous. I've seen him on TikTok before I covered them last week. He had a TikTok that had like 900,000 likes.
What's his name?
Caden Halacio. And they kind of kept him in check. The rushing yardage didn't quite show that, but they didn't let him break out, and the Mars student section throughout the game was chanting tick-tock, tick-tock. So it was a good game for them. Kind of shows where they are. I think the bigger test, and I'm going to pencil myself in for this one, I think, is they play McKeesport next week. Not overlooking this week.
And that's at McKeesport.
Yeah. That if they can stop chemo and spell, then they have a real chance.
Now, is he
at contending.
playing?
I was gonna
He
say,
was hurt for a while.
I think he's back playing by
Is
now.
he?
Yeah.
Let's look. I'll look that up while you guys are continuing.
So we'll go with my game. I covered Carn City against Punxsutawney. Gremlins are up 19. We all picked Carn City. Gremlins are up 19-0 at halftime, and I figured at some point Punxsutawney would, punch back, but I didn't expect them to shut out Carn City in the second half, 22-0. So Punxsutawney ends up winning 22-0. And it's the first of two games this year against those teams. In a few weeks in October, they play each other again out at Punxsy. But this is the second straight week where I covered a game that was like a tale of two halves, because the week before I covered Slippery Rock against Grove City. Slippery Rock was up 20-7 at halftime. Grove City outscored Slippery Rock 26-0 in the second half to win. And this game, it was Carn City 19 in the first half and Punxsutawney 22 in the second half. And even after Punxsutawney really got back into the game, they scored 2 touchdowns to cut Carn City's lead to 19-14. Carn City's defense seemed to come up with a really big stop. There was about 5 minutes left in the game. Punxsutawney's on their own 30-yard line. They go for it, try to get a first down on third down, and they don't convert, so they force a punt. But on the punt, a kid for Carn City roughed the punter. So that kept the drive alive, and Punxsutawney took advantage, went down and scored a touchdown with, I think it was 38 seconds left in the game, and win the game 22-19. So,
is there any more annoying penalty in football than roughing the punter or kicker?
That's a good question.
I think, especially when it happens on Madden, it's
That
come
is
on, man.
well,
roughing the quarterback too is really up there because.
Well, at least when you hit the quarterback, you get a shot on him.
This
you
is
have to
true.
think about it.
Well, now hold on a second. If you got a guy that comes in and literally land-based a punter, you're saying that's okay?
No, I'm saying is there more
Especially when he gets hit.
when it happens, is it especially for your team? Is it say the Steelers?
Okay, so you're saying that the flag should be thrown. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, say the Steelers had the Patriots on 4th and 16. They punt the ball. They hit the punter. That penalty is the worst.
Roughing the kicker, roughing the quarterback, or holding.
Holding's a bad one.
But
too.
if you're a fan of the team that benefits from the call, then it's great.
Sure. So which of those three is worse to you? Holding, roughing the quarterback, or roughing the kicker? Your team makes a play and all of a sudden it's called back because of that.
I would say roughing the passer, because roughing the passer now. Let me see your head. That's roughing the passer now. I mean, if a guy comes in and literally just pats you on that's roughing the passer because it's a hit to the head.
I'd say rough the kicker, because usually if you rough the kicker, it's close enough in field goal range where that drive can continue to go, and they get an extra 4 points off of that.
Fair. I think because of the rarity, roughing the kicker hurts more, but in terms of often what's going to get me frustrated sitting on the couch, it might be holding, because usually
it's
holding
a drive killer.
Yeah, because usually holding leads to a big run play, and you're yeah, just watch my guy run 20 yards down the field. Crap, it's going 30 yards back the other way. Not exactly the best feeling.
We had
in the
3
world.
options and we each took a different option. That's us. Mo, Larry, and Curly here.
Who's Larry?
Hey, so it's been a week. It's been a few weeks.
It's been a week.
What's it's been a week, but what are
It's
your
Tuesday.
thoughts on high school football this past week?
You guys kind of touched on the two main things, and understandably so from your games. That I took away from Aiden popping off for 300 yards, huge, just crazy. And I was sitting there going, okay, this is what the offense actually looks like when it's good. I guess I'll go one other different direction here, and I was doing this a little bit, looking up preview stuff for this week, so I won't give away all of my intel. But Andrew Kiefer's having a decent season despite not being the most prolific passer, but for a freshman, he's been relatively sturdy. He made a pretty decent throw last week in their game. Let me actually pull up what this was again. This is also great radio here.
Against Ridgeway. And they needed it. They only won that game by 4 points.
I said what I said, Laura. Don't even try it.
I wish I had a sound kind of like Jeopardy when you guys do stuff like this. I'm going to write that in here.
So yeah, Kiefer threw a go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter, and his receiver was wide open, but it was wide open as he was throwing the ball. It wasn't that the guy was there and Kiefer was just like, oh, there's no one within 20 yards. The defender fell as he was throwing the ball, so his receiver was wide open. But it was a good rollout against his body, threw a pass that was a 16-yard touchdown, I believe, puts them up ahead. They have a final drive that they can basically salt the game away. It looked like it was the same play, and he throws an interception, and the defense has to make a stand then with like a minute 40 left in the game, and does. So like the interception was obviously almost a killer, but Kiefer was making some plays from what I was watching, flipping through the different streams. I know we talked with Max Gallagher last week, and that, he's a stud on both sides of the ball. But I think there's something impressive about Kiefer's making enough plays so far for a 5-0 team that he's not going to probably win much for them this year, but he's also doing enough to complement Max in that running game.
That's right. I mean, we talked about our freshmen, not just freshmen, but even first-year starting quarterbacks a few weeks ago. You look at Kiefer specifically, we talked about this a little before, coming in and trying to step into the shoes of an Owen Bish, who did so much for that football team, not just on offense, but Bish was also a star for them on defense. Now, I believe Kiefer, he's only playing offense. Is that right? I think he's just quarterback.
So. And he obviously doesn't have the wheels that Bish did. So he's more of a passer.
Right. And a kid can feel overwhelmed when he's taken over a position and he looks at the guy who just played that quarterback for them in the last few years, and how am I going to do this? They don't need him to be Owen Bish. Just mistakes are going to happen, especially from a freshman. But he's got a really good cast around him, and he is, as you pointed out, he is making plays that are helping them win. And right now, who's our undefeated teams? North Catholic, Freeport, and Union AC. That's it.
That Union AC is the one that's winning games in kind of different ways all the time. They've won a couple close ones. Freeport and North Catholic have blown everyone
Freeport and North
out.
Catholic would play each other later in the year, too, in playoffs, which would be a pretty entertaining matchup.
That would be an awesome, like, in terms of what I root for in playoff coverage for us, fingers crossed. That's what I look forward to. Two of our teams facing each other.
So, I don't think that's happened in the time I've been here.
What?
A playoff game where two have faced each other?
It's spread out here.
I'll have to think about it. I'll get back to you on that one. For the time being, let's talk about other sports. It's been a few weeks since we kind of delved into non-football fall sports, but for some sports, the postseason has already got here with the golf and tennis and soccer, volleyball just around the corner for those postseason tournaments. Brendan, what catches your eye as we head into October here?
Well, I try to keep up each week with what's happening, soccer, volleyball. I have a pretty good handle on it because of the story I write for each Monday's paper. I got a chance to cover them last week. John covered them last night from what I saw.
In the rain.
Seneca Valley boys soccer, when they came into the season, George Williams told me there were some question marks, and it sounded like he wasn't sure what this team would be. At this point, they have one loss, and that one loss is to a section opponent who they have another shot at in Fox Chapel. They play them, I think, next Tuesday.
Yes.
So that'll be a really big one for them, and that was in overtime. So this is a really strong 6A or 4A team that I think really has a chance to win a Whipple championship, which depends on what they do here. I think they're 5-1 in section play at this point after last night's win against Butler.
They lost to Fox Chapel.
Yeah. So that's their only loss, and that'll be one that we'll have to watch out for because that will be a big one in terms of playoff positioning and section title.
I don't know if I'm going to steal this from you, Derek, so I apologize in advance if I do. But I'll go with golf just because that's fresh right now. We had, 6 golfers make it in? North Catholic had 4.
Mm-hmm. Freeport had 4.
Freeport had 4, and Seneca Valley sent 2. The biggest surprise being last night that you brought up, Mars didn't send anyone, and they had a pretty loaded roster, we thought. Yeah. Just a rough night for that group, but strong field right now. We're going to have the girls' field be decided here before this episode drops, or at least who's going into the final. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week is the Whipple first round of the individual championships. Next week we get the finals, which is cut down from 43 to 28. Well, I know it's different from class to class, but
I think in double A, which for us is Freeport and North Catholic boys, it went from 91 to 43, I think.
And what did you say the difference was last night in the cutoff between 3A and 2A boys? It was something dramatic.
So in AAA, the cutoff was, I believe, 77 strokes. If you were worse than 77 strokes, you didn't make the cut. For AA, it was 86. That's a pretty big disparity there.
The 3A final round is going to be at Butler Country Club on the 29th, and on the 30th, the 2A boys final will be at Valley Brook Country Club in McMurray. I'm blanking on where the girls final will be as well, but obviously this is our first postseason. I mean, girls tennis has started its singles championships. We'll have doubles later this week, and then teams I think is a week and a half from now after that. So we're following some teams there, but we don't have any individuals on the tennis side this year to pay attention to going into states.
So I covered a game last week. Seneca Valley is a perennial volleyball playoff team. We're talking, well, the boys are too, but that's in the spring. We're talking girls here now because we're in the fall. And they hosted North Catholic. North Catholic won by sweep, but all the games are close. I think the widest margin was the final set, which was 25-20. You also had a couple 26-24 games in there. So it was really close, but two individuals that have really stood out so far, and we've had a lot, but I want to point out two, and I'm going to be doing a story on these two young ladies here in a few days. Gabby Weideman, who is a sophomore at Mars, and Julia Mason, who is a senior at Butler, have both reached 1,000 career assists. In fact, this is tonight, the day that this episode is being recorded. Mason's going to be presented with a gold volleyball up at Butler High School before their varsity match, and I'm sure they honored, and I'll find this out, but I'm sure they honored Gabby down at Mars in some way for getting to 1,000 assists. 1,000 assists is a great, it's like 1,000 points in basketball. I mean, it's a milestone, and for any player to get there, like Julia up at Butler, I mean that's a great thing. It's a great achievement. And then you look at the girl from Mars, Gabby Weideman. She got there. It was literally like 6 matches into her sophomore year. I mean, you played volleyball. I mean, how rare is it that you see a player get to 1,000 assists? Not even that much into her sophomore year.
It means that they have to be in system a lot because especially at the high school level, a lot of points can be scored. Can be scored kind of out of system, which can mean just a ball going over the net kind of randomly and the other team's not there in position to get it. A lot of aces, a lot of service errors, even too. A lot of kill errors can lead to points. It requires Mars to be fluid from serve receive or from defense receive into setting, into the attack, and for the attack to actually be successful more often than not. So that's like a team-wide stat. When you've got a lot of assists for a setter, they've got to be good at it, but that means the team is functioning well. And obviously we know that because they made a state final last year, won Whitbeals, which is also going to contribute to that because she has a longer season to play. So it's impressive. I mean, it means it's a good team around her, and she's the right setter for the job. Another thing, too, high school tends to be a lot of teams want to run a 5-1 offense, which means you have one setter on the court at all times going through all 6 positions, and everyone else is either receiving or attacking. But some high schools have to run a 6-2 offense, which means you have 2 setters, one back row, one front. Or sometimes when a setter is going into back row, they get subbed out for a libero or subbed out for a defensive specialist, someone who can play in the back row better than them. Or actually, no, front row. Sorry, I got that mixed up. You sub out a setter when they get to the front row because you want an extra hitter there. So the back row setter is coming in. You still have 3 attackers and 1 setter. Some high schools have to run a 6-2. I was on 5-1 and 6-2 when I played in high school, and it changes the way that the offense functions. It also means that you're splitting up the number. It's like running 2 quarterbacks. You know, if you were to do that, both quarterbacks are going to have lower stats. That happens more often at the high school level. You get to the college level, like you've got to run a 5-1 offense. So you rarely see a 6-2. And if you do, either they've got 2 elite setters and not a lot of depth on the outsides, or they're not as strong as they would like to be. So yeah, I mean that's just a little bit of inside baseball with that, and why she's doing what she's doing.
It's nice
so
to actually
early.
get some insight on a sport. I mean,
The only one I know,
honestly,
and I wasn't great
other
at
than
it.
our interviews, we get insights on sports with our interviews all the time. But speaking of Gabby, I will be covering the Planets tonight at Mars. Huge section matchup in Whitfield AAA. Mars is 4-0 in section. Freeport's 3-1. And remember, last year Mars ended Freeport's string of, what was it? I think 19 straight section titles that Freeport had won before Mars won last year. Tonight, Tuesday, they're playing down in Buffalo Township, and I'm looking forward to that one.
Should be a good one.
Pick time.
Brendan, anything smart this week?
We were all pretty average last week, so
Oh, jeez.
back in front of Derek. I
We
can
had the-
change
the
this week.
dropped L, we
This
had
is a pretty.
Magnifying glass last
This is
week.
a comparatively unpredictable week compared to the last few.
I was going through and typing stuff into the file, and Derek and I were not in agreement on more than a few games this week.
Yeah, last week it was like boom, boom, boom. Derek had like one difference, and that ended
I
up being
picked
it.
Sharpsville over Slippery Rock, and
Yeah.
I paid for it.
Darn Rockets.
All right. So, who's covering Butler this week?
John.
John. Our old buddy John. He's going to get to see my alma mater. This last year, this game was down at Connellsville, and I covered it. This year, Connellsville's coming to Butler. Both teams independent, outside of the Whitfield now. Brendan, do my Falcons have a chance?
So I was looking, and your Falcons have dropped 4 in a row by an average of 28.5 points per,
Thanks.
which is not that good. It's 4 touchdowns. You're wondering. I think this is what Butler needs to get back on track here, and I'll take them 32-8.
Jake.
So real quick, we should also say happy birthday to John on this show because he turns not a day over 59 this week. Doesn't look a day over 59.
What day is his birthday?
Wednesday, correct?
21st, or I'm sorry, 24th, whatever that is.
Wednesday. So
I'm going to drop him off something at his house.
there you go.
Wednesdays?
That sounds menacing.
No, you need to get real close to Mike and be like, I'm going to drop something off at his house.
Anyway, the Falcons, who are 1-4, they've got the one interesting thing, and I keep bringing up like rushing attacks apparently against Butler. I don't know why I've been doing this. This is just where my brain is at. They've got 4 guys with at least 20 carries and 116 yards, so it's a little bit different from some of the last few teams that Butler has faced where they've had like 1 or 2 bell cow type backs. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. I think Butler is kind of in for a get back game here, and I have them winning 35-14.
So Connellsville won their first game this year against Latrobe, which, Latrobe's Latrobe. But I figured,
Latrobe.
there have been years where Connellsville has lost to Latrobe. So I was like, man, Connellsville might have a shot at a decent year. The very next week, Connellsville went up to Meadville, who Butler recently beat. And they hung with Meadville, Connellsville did, for about 2.5 quarters. Meadville pulled away, and since then it's been nosedive, just straight downhill. And
Yeah,
I don't see things picking up for them. They have some skill guys who are going to make some plays, but not enough to beat Butler. I got the Tornado winning this one 32-14.
They need an alumni to come into the locker room and rile them up.
Oh yeah. Newt Rockney speech.
You
for
go to
me.
Connellsville's locker room, I'll go to Butler's.
Okay.
What are you going to dress up as, though? That's the question. You got to wear like a mascot costume. Come
Go
on,
into Butler's
Brutus.
locker room?
It's your moment.
I'll wear Scoop's costume.
Oh, gosh. Could you imagine if you went in? What would his thing be? Like, what would you do? What would your thing be? Yeah, would you be like doing goalpost arms?
Just
And
the St. Joe's Hawk, just this the whole time,
Yeah,
standing
just-
in the corner.
I won't say anything. I'll just do that. Yeah.
you could like do like this, like you're getting ready to take off. Like
I covered
like-
I covered a girls soccer player.
you should get up on a thing and do the owl, even though it's a
Crane
Eagle.
technique.
Is
If
it
used
Eagle?
properly, no can defend.
Tuffy technique. I covered my wife and I covered a girls soccer player in Cumberland County. Mostly my wife because she would handle most of the soccer stuff. Who went on to become the St. Joe's mascot for like 2 years of college, and she told me about this because I went to Temple and she knew that I went to. I don't know why I vibratoed that by accident. She knew that I went to Temple, so St. Joe's and Temple are rivals, and she would give me flack for it, but I just kept talking crap about how the St. Joe's Hawk is one of the dumbest mascots in sports because all it does is this. It's just raising its hand.
It's like the Mothman.
I was like, the one good thing that's going to do for you is give you ripped shoulders. 'Cause it's just this.
It's the Fighting Martellis. Phil Martelli's one of my favorite
Traps are
former
gonna be
basketball
stacked,
coaches.
man. Your
He
delts
was-
and your traps are just gonna be busted.
He looked like a calculus professor. Just
leading Jameer Nelson, and I'm blanking on who else was on that team, but that was a fun team. This was before I went to Temple. I did enjoy that St. Joe's Hawks team in the mid-2000s.
Mount Lebanon coming to Seneca Valley. Lebo looking for their first win of the season. Seneca Valley coming off a comeback win over Moon. Does Seneca Valley make it 2 in a row, Jake?
I do think so. 35-24 on this one. One thing to watch with this, Mount Lebanon's Pat Smith, their quarterback actually has 601 rushing yards, which is 11th in WPIAL, but they do not have much of a passing offense to speak of. Blue Devils are 0-5 so far this season, 0-2 in Section 1-6A. So I have the Raiders winning this one.
Brennan.
I chose Seneca Valley to win 2 weeks ago. They didn't. Then I chose Seneca Valley to lose last week, and they won. Along with that, Blue Devils have been outscored by combined 107 points over 3 games, which kind of like Connellsville, not very good. So I think Seneca Valley wins this one 28-6.
Kiss of death. Sorry, Raiders.
I could still make my pick.
He's picked against them the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, it's going to be a sweep because I got you mentioned how many points Mount Lebanon's been outscored by. I've got the number of points they've scored themselves, 38. And I think to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to put up around that many points just in this one game. They're not going to do it. Seneca Valley's offense is going to have a big night. Raiders win 44-10. Sorry, Blue Devils. Our old buddy Zach Zimmerman upstairs is a Mount Lebanon grad.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. The Fighting Zimmermans coming to Seneca, but they're going to lose big time. Central Clarion at Karn City. We just talked a little bit ago about Karn City's second half, which just things get completely collapsed on them. They were up against a really good Punxsutawney team. It would have been Punxsutawney's first loss this year, but the Chucks scored 22 points in the second half to win. Does Karn City bounce back at home against a really good Central Clarion team, Brennan?
So we know about Central Clarion from last year. They played both Karn City, Butler beat both.
And they played in the state championship.
State runner-ups, yes. They're 2-3 to start out the season, which isn't that great when you first look at it. But don't let that record fool you. Their 3 losses are to teams that are combined 15-0 at this point, which is you can excuse that a little bit, right? So
It's just showing off.
I think this one will be a dogfight. Central Clarion will win at 28-22.
Jake?
I did not do that homework specifically, and now I'm regretting this pick, but I have the Gremlins winning 35-18. I had forgotten that Central Clarion had lost to some very good teams of its own. Karn City has, I don't know, it doesn't feel like they've played a complete game yet, so they're going to probably need one this week to try to do that.
Too busy in yearbook class.
Too busy in yearbook class. For those that didn't read Brendan's feature last week on Karn City going into the game, that's a reference to that. I don't know. Maybe the Gremlins kind of sort this thing out. I have them winning this one 35-18.
So you're taking Karn City?
Yes.
I'm agreeing with you. Last week, one thing that Punxsutawney did well the entire game, even though they didn't start getting going on offense until late in the third quarter. One thing they did well the entire game was hold down Owen Higginbottom, which, by the way, I learned that the H is silent.
Really?
It's Higginbottom, yes, but it's spelled with an H. And Hunter Shear, they came in averaging 153 yards combined per game, and Punxsutawney held them to 26 carries for 77 yards. So literally half of their usual game production. I think this week the running game gets going again. Take a little bit of pressure off of Cole Johnston, the quarterback, and I like Karn City to win 29-24, and by score says it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be one of the best of the week, so Gremlins by 5. North Catholic, this is probably the game of the week here. North Catholic at Ammonte Christian. Brennan.
I think it might be the game of the year to this point. 2 5-0 teams that can score. North Catholic's defense is a little bit more suspect, even though they've pitched 2 straight shutouts. I think North Catholic, that defense is going to be the downfall per se this week, and Amani Christian wins 42-39.
Their defense is obvious. I mean, if you're going to rank North Catholic's offense and defense, their offense is definitely the leading that team. And I do think they're going to give up some big plays, but they got a guy named Logan Shade. And when you're going up against a team that has a really good offense, as Amani does, give it to your top running back, and hopefully, I'm banking on this happening. They're going to be able to keep Amani's offense on the sideline enough to win a 33-23 road win. These teams, this could be a preview of a playoff game because both teams are in the Whitfield AAA. They're both 5-0. Trojans by 10 on the road against the Saints. Jake?
I think we're going to learn a lot about this team, this North Catholic team this week, because their defense has not been tested really at all up to this point.
They gave up a good bit to Blackhawk in that back and forth.
Okay, so that's one game. I guess for the majority of the season, they have not really been tested. This is a team that can clearly hang with them toe to toe. So it's head to head. I wonder what happens if the Trojans go down early and have to claw their way back. I don't know if we've seen that too much from them yet. Also, can the defense make just enough stops? I do have them winning this game 44-37 though.
44-37 Trojans. So it's a sweep for us, right? Oh, who you picking? The Saints.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Saints. They stink. They stink.
New Orleans
We
Saints
are different
on
on
Madden.
We are different on a number of games this week. So the last one we're actually going to analyze is Union AC Valley at Montauk. Two local teams going up against each other. Montauk is in that single A region this year, same as the Falcon Knights, and AC Valley didn't play well last week overall, but they still won. Now they're coming into Cherry Township to take on the Warriors. Brendan, is a third win in the mix for the Warriors this week?
Put simply, I am not going to choose Montauk over the undefeated Falcon Knights. Union AC Valley 42, Montauk 12.
Jake?
I've got the Falcon Knights winning this one 40-20. I do think that wow. I am mispronouncing everything today. I do think Montauk, it's one advantage in staying in. This is Brendan Stanky. He continues to run hard even in some of these games where they're getting blown out pretty good. So I think they'll be able to keep this one somewhat competitive here. But I mentioned this earlier. Andrew Kiefer has been having a quietly solid season for a freshman quarterback. He's got 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Obviously not the ratio that you want, but he's for all of his completions, they're going for an average of 15.9 yards per completion. That is crazy number. Like usually at the high school level, that's down closer to 10, 11 yards per completion. So he's got 637 yards total. When he hits for big plays. They're just not leaning on him because they've got a guy like Max Gallagher who can, carry a lot of the workload there.
So what's your score?
40-20.
Okay. You mentioned Sankey for Montauk, and he's doing the job. He's having a really good season for them. But when I look at Union AC, you mentioned Kiefer is making big plays, and Max Gallagher, who was our guest last week on the podcast, we said who's one guy that's kind of flying under the radar right now that he's going to end up being really, really good. And I covered Union AC once this year, and I saw this in person. Owen Bish's younger brother, Parker, is one of the receivers making those big plays. And he's also a defensive back, starting defensive back on the defensive side of the ball. And, of course, you got Gallagher running the ball. You also have Logan Skabensky. I just think this is a case of Union AC Valley having more weapons on offense than Montauk does. And I think it's going to lead to a 30-13 win for the Falcon Knights. Last 5 games, just the pick and the score. Brendan, Freeport at Valley.
Freeport 52, Valley 2.
Jake.
Did you forget where you're going on that one?
Dramatic pause.
Freeport 47-14.
Freeport 50-16. Knock at Indiana, Brendan.
Indiana 14, Knock 13.
Jake.
Indiana 40, Knock 7.
Indiana 27-14. West Mifflin at Mars, Brendan.
Mars 35, West Mifflin 7.
Jake.
Oh my God, we agreed. 35-7 Mars.
Mars 33-9. Game I'll be at this week. Harbor Creek at Slippery Rock, Brendan.
28-14 Harbor Creek.
Jake.
28-24 Harbor Creek.
Slippery Rock 23-20.
Going with the Rockets.
Rochester at Summit. Let's hear it, Jake.
Summit wins 2012.
Brendan.
Summit 21-7.
Summit 26-8. It's a sweep for Summit. Now, come on, Knights. You got to win this week. Rochester, both teams are winless, but Summit has actually been able to put up some points. I think Rochester scored, what, like 15 the whole year or something?
I think it's 12.
12? Okay, 12 points the whole year. I mean, Summit's shown. I mean, Summit lost the game this year. I think it was 43-40. So they can obviously put the points up. They're going to do it this week, 26-8 over the Rams. I do want to point one thing out here. Last week, you guys both picked Slippery Rock.
I don't know why it's
I
funny.
picked Sharpsville. Slippery Rock won. This week, I'm picking Slippery Rock, and you guys are going with Harbor Creek. Now, if I lose this game, I'm just going to stop picking Slippery Rock games the rest of the year if I lose this one. Now it's time. Thank you.
I feel like I want to get a video of you guys like dancing on a football field with like footballs, like.
Just put the little piano there like Linus.
And you know what you could do, Derek? Derek.
It's the Happy Hands Club.
So, Derek. It's only happened 3 times. It's pretty rare.
God, here we go.
Who are the 3 receivers to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL draft?
Irving Fryer.
Yeah.
I still get I get my 5
You started though. Do you know it?
It's okay.
You can. We can wait. I mean, I didn't make the rules up, but
as the arbiter
how
of
tough
this.
the question
started
was
going
last
for it.
week,
That was kinda
take your
cool.
time. Take your time.
He's got one, but he can
He has
take a break
one.
unless
Okay.
unless you know them all right now.
Let's go to Beyond Brennan with Butler.
Welcome to our weekly segment where we talk about something outside of Butler County sports, whether that be professionally or collegiately, beyond Butler. This doesn't have anything to do with the Steelers for once. Nothing about baseball like we talked about earlier. Somehow, the Browns found a way to beat the Packers on Sunday, which I thought was interesting. As I'm kind of going through the locker room stuff after the game, I see these notifications coming up on my phone like, what's happening? All these block kicks. And there was one in the Eagles game, too.
2 of them.
Everybody just decided to block kicks that day. That's not one anyone would have chosen. It was for the Micah Parsons-led Green Bay Packers to lose. What is the biggest regular season NFL upset you guys remember?
Oh, jeez.
If you want to think, I'll go
Should've given me
first.
some-
Go for it.
It was typed in the file.
Yeah,
Derek.
this
I haven't looked at it. I don't
So-
you're asking me to remember best of things a lot, and I don't do well with that. You're
But
setting me up to fail,
not best
Brendan.
of what sticks out to you most.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Best of in my brain, and
Mine, I was young. I was 6 years old. I remember the Miami Dolphins wearing orange and beating Tom Brady on Monday Night Football. Very odd one, but
2004.
yeah.
is that the Wildcat game? Because actually
That was
the
2008.
Okay,
That
the
was
Wildcat game. I mean, I don't think I could watch that game, but I remember the highlights.
Was
from
Matt
that.
Castle the quarterback then for the Patriots?
Yeah,
I think 2008,
you're
yeah.
right.
Because that was when Chad Pennington and the Dolphins somehow won the AFC East.
Yeah.
Now, what was the quarterback matchup in the game you were talking about? What was the quarterback matchup? Well, you know the Patriot quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
And
Who beat Tom Brady
Jay
on a Monday night?
Fiedler.
A.J. Feely.
So
A.J.
close.
Feely on a Monday night took down the Patriots. Patriots finished that year 14-2. Steelers were 15-1, so Steelers got home field advantage. But we all know that the Patriots ended up coming to Heinz Field and beating the Steelers in the AFC Championship.
AJ Feely and Jay Fiedler, I always mixed them up in the 2000s.
And that not to mention Jay Feely, the kicker.
Yeah.
There's A.J. Feely, Jay Feely, Jay Fiedler, Fiedler on the roof. There's we got a bunch of guys.
There it
here.
is.
What?
So I'm
Got some dark clouds behind you, Laura.
I
That's
mean, I
great.
said it that Wildcat game, I guess, is one that I remember just seeing all the highlights of him, just being like, holy crap. I like I said, I'm really bad with these kinds of questions. The one that, and this is probably not an upset, I just remember the miracle at the Meadowlands 2 when Deshaun Jackson returned a punt for a touchdown as the clock expired in the new Meadowlands. I think it was in the new Meadowlands shortly after it opened. That was a kind of wild one. I I don't have anything better right now because I just can't think. Like NFL doesn't have crazy upsets the way that college football does, and I'm not that huge of a college football fan to even remember.
Another one
some of my
involving the
best.
Dolphins was the one where Kenyon Drake scored late and Rob Gronkowski couldn't tackle him.
Oh,
The Miracle Miami or whatever they want to call that. I
Yeah.
was gonna say maybe the 2 Steelers games a few years ago. They lose to the Patriots, like we talked about in the office. They lose to the Cardinals, but I can't say that those were surprising because there's always a thing that Mike Tomlin plays down to teams that are worse than
There's
his.
always a game, actually more than one, where you feel really confident going into, as a Steeler fan, you feel really confident going into a week. They're playing at home. They're playing a 3-win team in late November, and they lose. And that particular instance, they lost to the Cardinals and the Patriots, back-to-back games at Heinz Field. Both teams came into Pittsburgh with 2 wins and left with 3. What is I?
If there was one good
Incredibly frustrating. Thanks for putting me in a bad mood.
there was one thing that good that came out of that is that Kenny Pickett played his last snap as a Steeler in that second game. So
That was the
and then
yeah.
went on to win a Super Bowl.
oh my God.
I honestly, I would have to agree with you on my choice for this question would be that Monday night game you were talking about in 04 where the Dolphins, and this was in December, late in the year, where they took down the Patriots. Another one I want to throw out there is what season did Peyton Hillis, was it 2010 when he just
2010.
went off?
Yeah.
They beat the Patriots that year. And Peyton Hillis ran all over New England. He ran for 170 yards. And this is back, I mean, Cleveland's had a couple decent seasons since coming back into the NFL in 99. That was not one
Doing
of
some
the,
heavy lifting.
that was not one of their better teams, and they ran all over New England.
Yeah.
Peyton Hillis was a flash in the pan running back, man. Like
He
that
was.
year was incredible, and that was it.
Yep. He was actually on the cover of Madden.
Yep.
wasn't
Yep, 2012.
I do want to, since we're on the subject of him, this was about a year and a half ago. He saved his 2 children from dying,
Yeah.
and almost in the process almost died himself, but he made it through.
What happened? I didn't hear this.
It
They
was-
almost drowned or something like
Was
that.
this in an actual pool, or was like a lake somewhere? I don't.
I'm guessing a lake.
But he was on vacation somewhere with his family, and his 2 young children were struggling, and he went in and saved them. But then he almost ended up drowning himself. But he pulled through, thankfully, obviously, because it's a
Wow.
a guy saving his kids. You don't want to
Yeah.
see it end in a bad outcome there. But yeah, it didn't get played up much, but it happened. So.
I did not remember that. That's crazy. All right, you got your answers?
Hold on. Wait.
You got to be on top. Come on, Laura. Let's go.
I am asking for grace this week, and you're not giving it to me.
I didn't ask for it last week either. Or I didn't give it to you last week either.
Jeez.
Cheese and bologna and mayonnaise.
All right, read the question again.
Who are the
I'm going
3
to.
wide receivers to be drafted #1 overall in NFL draft history?
Irving Fryer. He was the first one, I believe.
Yep.
1984, New England Patriots. Where'd he go to school?
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Nebraska. I always get him and Hartley Dykes mixed up.
Well, okay.
Good story.
I'll
Who are the
forgive
other
you
two?
for that. Hartley Dykes went to Oklahoma State. Calvin Johnson. Brendan Howe. Was it-
The other 2.
Oh,
is
yeah,
that-
he signed as a free agent. I forgot.
Was it Mike Williams with the Lions?
No. He was,
Okay.
I think, like
Wait, hold
third or
on. Don't
fourth.
tell them yet.
Okay.
Talk it out, you two.
One of them you would know. He's a loudmouth.
Antonio
Oh, a
Brown.
loudmouth football player? What?
A loudmouth
He wrote a
rather.
book saying he can't be covered.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Keon Johnson.
Just throw me the damn ball.
I
Keyshawn
forgot about
Johnson
that.
said what?
He wrote a book after his rookie season that said like he can't be covered.
Yeah.
It was
That was
called-
their way of complaining back then. They didn't have Twitter to go to.
The name of the book was just throw me the damn ball.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Who was the other guy?
Dave Parks.
Who?
San
What's
Francisco
his story?
49ers, 1964. He
But
played.
you said Fryer was the first one. I asked you. I said
You did.
What do
Yeah, you said that Fryer was the first one.
no. I
when
missed
did
the
I say it was the
question.
first one?
I asked you. I said Fryer was the first one. You said yeah. I mean, I missed the question. I'm just saying.
Oh,
We're having controversy the past 2 weeks.
controversy.
I'll tell you what.
Throw,
Wait, hold
Dave,
on.
throw that one out. I didn't. I
No,
didn't.
Hold
I
on.
didn't.
I-
I
no, I
did
obviously-
not get the question right. I didn't get the question
but
right.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear you say that question, or I
Would
must
you
have
have guessed
said
Dave
yeah.
Parks?
I actually know who Dave.
Okay, then
San
we'll throw it
Francisco,
out.
But I
We'll throw it
would
out.
not have guessed him. I said I'm just saying he played for the Niners, right?
We'll put it 2-2-1. It's a tie.
He's not answering my question.
He played for the 49ers, yes.
Okay, but I didn't, and I also
But
got
when he said the first,
Yeah,
I got Calvin Johnson wrong. So
Yeah.
that right there,
You're good. You're good, Brendan. I think it was just a
means-
He
misunderstanding
is
of the
getting
question.
temperamental. We need to calm him down. You need a
Go to
sponge bath. You
meditation.
need a nice
did
sponge
you give
bath.
Rambo any of those calms?
No, we used to give him CBD, but he doesn't need it anymore. He just goes in his kennel at night.
Bear does take CBD because he's got like low back and hip issues,
Dave Parks.
and it helps him because he's like, ah! And now that I'm like moving and packing, he's losing his faculties.
Who did Ohio State have this week?
Washington.
We did this like 15 years ago, and I never even told Jake about that. This is his idea to bring it back, and I'm excited about it. Last 5 weeks of the high school football regular season, fantasy football.
We get a golden typewriter.
Jake, is there any way you want to introduce this? You
yeah.
want to go over the rules here?
So what I will say is the winner of the league, I will buy dinner for, pizza, hoagie, something like that. Chipotle if you want.
What if you win? You buy yourself.
Then I'll buy myself dinner.
We'll give him a big kiss on the cheek. Hey, we'll get Jake's picture with me on this side, Brendan over here. We'll just be kissing his cheek.
AI.
So this is how it's gonna work. We have 5 weeks of this will only be regular season, will not be postseason. We will do a 4-round snake style draft. So that means person who picks first will pick 6th and then 7th, et cetera, et cetera. The person who picks 3rd will pick also 4th. You have to take a quarterback, a running back, a receiver or tight end, and a super flex, which means one more person from any category here. It does not matter. Derek, you will pick first because you're currently last in our weekly pick'ems. So you get to I shouldn't say that. You get to pick where you want to pick first.
I want to pick 3 and 4.
You want to pick 3 and 4. All right.
Absolutely.
So Derek, I will write that down. Brendan, because I'm nice, I will let you decide whether you want the first or second pick.
I'll take second.
All right. And I'm going to be at a handicap here with the 1st and 6th, 7th pick. That'll be fun. All right. So this is how the scoring works. For receivers and running backs, you get 1 point for every 20 yards, 6 points for a touchdown, and 2 points for any 2-point conversion they receive or run for. Can't throw for one on a trick play. Quarterbacks get 1 point for every 40 yards thrown. They also get rushing yards and stuff like that. They get 6 points for every TD they run for or throw, and they get 2 points for any 2-point conversion they run or receive for. They can't get one while throwing for.
No defensive touchdowns here.
No defensive touchdowns. So yeah, if a player plays on both sides of the ball, we're not counting their defensive stats here.
Or special, like a kick return.
I guess that was one that I messed up. Do you guys want to include special teams touchdowns?
Yeah, because Amos Glenn has a few kick return touchdowns.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. The way that this will work season wise is it will not be head to head. 1, because there's 3 of us. 2, because it's only a 5-week season. It's not going to be all that exciting. So all this is cumulative points. You have to, whoever has the most points over the next 5 weeks wins. I'll track all this stuff. You won't have to worry about it. We'll give an update during the show every week. And as far as waivers, the only time you can make a waiver pickup and drop someone is if you have an injury to deal with. So obviously we could be at a little bit of a disadvantage if we don't know if a player is injured or not going into a week and is going to miss. But if we do know, you can make your decision to drop that player and add someone else by Thursday. And by Thursday could be like midnight.
Where's the rule in here that says if he's got a really good guy, I can just steal him in week 8? I'm taking your guy here.
trades.
I will not rule out you can make trades if you want to. It has to be announced over the show, and it will go into effect for the following week. You cannot make a trade on a Thursday or a Wednesday. It has to be made by Tuesday's show.
Okay.
So that way we have some time and readers know what's going on, or listeners know what's going on. So I printed out the current top 10 stats, and not current, last week's top 10 stats in every category that Brendan puts out every week with our football preview stuff. This is not your final draft board. You can pick anyone else, across Butler County. These are only Butler County athletes, Butler County area athletes that you can pick from. But I gave you a little cheat sheet here to work off of. Once a player is picked, just like in any fantasy league, that person is off the board. No one else can pick them. So you guys we will start this draft with me going first. I actually kind of expected that I was going to go second in this one. I figured, Derek, you would take 3 and 4 for some reason. I just thought that would be
that's
the route
the conservative way to do things. Thank you.
All right. I am going to go with the number 1 pick. Need a second on this one. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do this.
Don't miss your pick like the Vikings did. You're on the clock.
I'm going to take Max Gallagher, number 1 overall.
So he's your running back.
He's my running back. Now, Brendan, you are up next.
I'll take Amos Glenn.
Now, Derek, you got some time here. You can pick. You have 2 picks in a row.
Mm-hmm. So I could end up picking 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, or 2 running backs because there's an X factor pick, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Gallagher's off the board and Amos Glenn's off the board. I am going to take Joe Filitsky.
Oh, is he going to do it?
I don't think I'm going to do what you think I'm going to do. Actually, I might. I don't know. Yeah, I am. Logan Shade.
There we go. Package deal.
So if North Catholic's offense suddenly just takes a nosedive.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they take a
He's
nosedive, but they're kicking the crap out of everybody they play.
We have a 5-week sample size right now to know who's good and who's not.
Okay, so now it goes back to Brendan.
Brendan's got his 2nd round pick.
I'll take Nico Baguetta.
Baguetta. All right.
Now, Jake, you get 2 straight.
I get 2 in a row. And also, as a reminder, quarterback rushing stats will count for this as well, same as a running back stats will. And receivers who run a play or running backs who catch a pass or anything like that, all those stats still count. It's just like normal fantasy football in those regards. It's just our own scoring system. I am going to take Andrew Lobig next. Doesn't really matter what order I take them in. I'll say... Oh, this one's tough. Thanks, Laura. I'm going to say Aiden Yoakum over my other option here, who I will not give away, although it doesn't really matter because I'm not picking another running back.
Okay, now it's Brendan again, right?
Brendan, your boy's still on the board.
Take Hunter Scherer.
Ooh.
He's your X factor.
He's chasing down that Eagle scoring trophy.
So now I get 2. These are my last 2 picks.
Your last 2. You got a quarterback and a running back, so you need a receiver and then a super flex.
Make him good.
I could be putting all my. I'm going Will Waskowitz. So there North Catholic, please be hot every single week.
Honestly, it's not the worst idea right now.
I got North Catholic's quarterback, their running back, and their wide receiver, and I get 1 more.
You should have drafted your super flex first and then picked Waskowitz next just for the drama.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go a little bit off the grid here. A name that is not on Owen Long from Slippery Rock running back.
Ooh, okay. All right, Brendan, your last pick. You have a quarterback who doubles basically as a running back and 2 running backs, so you must take a receiver.
Gabe gets doubled on like every single play, but I'll go with Gabe.
All right. Your boy. All right, and I have to take a receiver as well, which leaves me with Seneca Valley's Rory O'Shea, Summit Academy's Demetrius Crosby, Union AC Valley's Trent Fleming. Those are 3 of the top ones left, quote unquote, on the board since they're I could, for shoots and giggles here, take Preston Simcoe as well, and we just have the top 4 producers for North Catholic.
Riker Kennedy, I'm pretty sure he's hurt at this point.
There's
Maybe he played Friday,
he
but
had 97 catches last year. So
when I went to their
year,
practice a few weeks ago, he had ice on his ankle and he wasn't wearing cleats. So,
ooh, okay. I'm gonna say, I'm tempted to take Crosby on this one just because of the touchdown production. I'm gonna take Rory O'Shea. So there we go. Here are our final rosters, and like I said, I will keep stats on this throughout the season, and the winner will get a dinner in the office of their choice after week 10. Derek, your roster is at quarterback, Joe Flitsky, at running back, Logan Shade, and Owen Long, and at receiver, Will Waskowitz. The North Catholic Trojans are your roster. Brendan, your quarterback is Nico Baguetta. Your running backs are Amos Glenn and Hunter Shearer, and your receiver is your boy Gabe Hein. And my roster is quarterback Andrew Lobig, running backs Max Gallagher and Aiden Yoakum, and I partnered Lobig with his top target, Rory O'Shea, at wide receiver. So we all went 2 running backs in this, which was interesting. I wasn't sure if we were going to throw an extra quarterback in there at some point. So, all right. You guys know the rules. Any questions that you have before you understand the waiver wire?
No, you're keeping track of all this.
I'll
right?
keep track of it. I'll have a spreadsheet.
Right.
You can check my numbers.
As long as I don't end up needing to buy him lunch, it's
Nope. It will.
I've bought you lunch before.
You
Dinner-
have.
Dinner will be on me. So if I win, I'm buying myself dinner.
Well, like I said, we'll find a way to pay you back. We'll talk about it.
Bring in some candy.
There
You're
you
going to update us every week. On the
Every
show.
week, yep. So we'll have a small little update with who's leading, what the scoring totals are, and if we need to make a waiver claim or announce a trade.
Enjoy week 6.
Peace.
We encourage you to subscribe to the Butler Eagle YouTube channel and Apple or Spotify podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alter Eagle Podcast and at Butler Eagle News. Goodbye.